Welcome back, you little bitches. That's probably too mean. Welcome back, guys, to Gasp the Pod. Welcome back. Welcome to season 3. I'm so fucking happy. Let me get my wine and let's get into our topic, shall we? Cheers. It's all over social media. It's all over the news. Even President Trump, for some reason, is fucking talking about it. It's on the president's desk. Now, I probably shouldn't have called him the president because I barely think he is. What are we talking about today? What is the fucking drama? It's the Sydney Sweeney American Eagle jeans controversy. This week, we're going to dissect where American Eagle went wrong from their Instagrams, from their billboards. But it's not just American Eagle's fault. It's also Sydney Sweeney herself, though. So we're doing a look back at all of Sydney Sweeney's major controversies. We're going to talk about why Sydney Sweeney has been on the brink of cancellation for like years now. I first wanted to welcome any new viewers, and I also wanted to say to existing listeners and viewers and watchers, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube, even if you do not have a YouTube and use a YouTube, please do so now. It means a lot. It means that I can monetize my ads. It means that I can continually increase the quality for you. It literally costs nothing to subscribe on YouTube. Please do so because I have a lot of listeners. Love that. But not all of that translates to YouTube subscribers. So if you could do that right now, pause, that would be amazing. Okay, let's talk about season 3. First of all, if you haven't noticed, I'm decorating a little cutesy set behind me. Me and Sophia got this little table. So we have our candlesticks. I have a picture of her. I have pride flags. I have my Taylor Swift candle, obviously. But it's going to continually get better and better. This season, I have some very interesting, juicy, exciting topics to talk about that I've been planning for. We're going to have new guests on, of course. And I also have a new schedule. Please don't be mad. This podcast is usually a weekly podcast. Unfortunately, it will be changing to bi-weekly, bisexual, which means every 2 weeks I will release an episode. And every 2 weeks I will release an episode on Tuesday. So it's going back to Tuesdays, every 2 weeks on Tuesday. That way I can actually spend more time promoting the podcast. Because right now, unfortunately, this podcast does not make all of the money I need in order to pay rent and survive. Once it does, we'll go back to weekly. But because it doesn't make me all of my income, I cannot do it weekly. I'm so sorry. I was burning out. However, if you are a Patreon subscriber, and if you are not, consider subscribing today. I will still be making my usual bonus content on Patreon for all of my subscribers. So that's stuff that I will never post anywhere else. I do Gaylor Songs of the Month. I do a lot of different special little series on my Patreon. So if you want more content than my bi-weekly episodes, go to my Patreon. And I recently did a bonus episode on Queer Ultimatum and my thoughts on the cast, if you want to check that out on my Patreon. All right, let's get to the topic. So we're talking about American Eagle. For people who have been into an American Eagle store in the last few years, you will see and notice that American Eagle's new branding, I mean, at least before this whole Sydney Sweeney shit, was pro-diversity, diversity in terms of race and having not just white people on, and also diversity in terms of body type. So I thought that was really great of American Eagle. Something's happening, and it's a conservative switch away from that. And we need to be paying attention to this conservative new type of branding for everything. Trad wives, fucking corporate sponsors pulling out of Pride. These brands now appealing to MAGA people because they see that that's popular and they want to appeal to that. Brands don't actually care about us. So anyways, they had a whole new era of body positivity and diversity. And this was actually beneficial for them. A Forbes article from 2020 says American Eagle's brand built on body positivity and inclusion is slowly edging out sexy supermodel Victoria's Secret. So that's the idea. This was working for them because it was hip and popular to be including diversity, and consumers wanted that. Now there's so much of a push towards conservatism that a lot of people now are being red pilled, okay? Especially Gen Z. if you're Gen Z, I'm scared. Like, I'm scared for you guys. It's now not popular anymore. So that's why they kind of switched up, is my theory. What's also ironic about this whole thing is that it's not like their creative director is a man. It's a woman, and her name is Jennifer Foyle. She's the executive creative director and also leads marketing. So like, you would think this seems like a very patriarchal ad, right, that men made. And yes, the CEO is a man, but it's like, people in corporate positions, they usually don't fucking care. So even if it's a woman, she doesn't care about making this pro-woman. She wants it to make money because that's their job. And that's kind of this unfortunate realization. Okay, let's talk about the ad itself and go through each like Instagram post and each thing that was so fucking weird and fucked up. There's a lot of little teasers they put in their social media to show this campaign with Sydney Sweeney, and just like basic ground knowledge for those who weren't aware. I mean, you have to be living under a rock to not be aware, but pretty much American Eagle did this campaign with Sydney Sweeney. And what's so ironic too about it is that there was a certain pair of jeans that had like a butterfly on it, and proceeds from the sales of those jeans went to domestic violence awareness and like a crisis line. Very sexualized campaign, and also a eugenics campaign. And I also want to make it clear that I don't think like female sexuality is the problem, but it's not pitched that way. And there's a very big difference. And a lot of people will try to gaslight us and be like, no, sexuality in general is always pro-woman. There is a huge difference in it being empowering and it being like a woman's choice, and it being framed and catered towards men and not actually catered for women. So anyways, they did this campaign together, and Sydney Sweeney was in all of these advertisements pretty much promoting American Eagle. So she was on billboards, she was on like their like website teasers, she's like all over everywhere. So this was more than just like a little sponsorship. She did this huge campaign with them. And they also must have thought she's gonna be perfect for this, which is funny because let's remember, Sydney Sweeney's reputation before this, it's not like she was this queen, body positivity, like women loved her kind of a way. She was kind of known as like pick me, catering towards men vibe, and men love her. So that's her reputation. And then American Eagle, you know, sees this reputation and says, perfect for this campaign. Which is why I do think it was not directed towards feminists, women who want like body positivity. That's why I think it was catered towards MAGA, whether that's men or trad wife girls in general that then feel like they have to defend Sydney Sweeney. And it's just so strange. The whole thing is so strange. I'm just having a hard time believing that their target audience was women when they were going into this, where they were like, we want women to buy these jeans. Either they fully do not understand women and they fucked up accidentally. I can't see how that's possible. Or B, they were going after, wait, there's actually a C. B, they were going after a certain type of woman, one that looks like me but does not actually have the same values that I do. White, straight, not me. White, straight women that are like trad wife, conservative, pro-Trumpy, and not even pro-Trumpy, but just like anti-woke. And then C, men. And we should remember, like, American Eagle does actually have men's clothes, which people forget. Really, in this campaign, it seems like they're trying to make Sydney Sweeney something that she is not, or at least that's the veil they're using to cover their real intentions, because Sydney Sweeney is not someone that women necessarily look up to. Now, you can argue if that's fair or not, but that's just kind of the truth. So that's why I'm confused at her being at the center of the campaign, regardless of all of the eugenics stuff. Also, just eugenics isn't cute. It never has been. And I understand if like you're not chronically online, and if you're also not realizing that this world and like America like sucks right now, I can see how you wouldn't have picked up on this, especially if like you're a man. But like once you tune into misogyny, it's everywhere. And it's unfortunately like all you can really see once you really start seeing it. I also just want to tell a very quick American Eagle story that I think is like so funny, and it made me like hate American Eagle like 4 years ago. So actually this is way longer. I was in college, so I was like maybe 21. All right, at this point I have boobs. This is relevant. I'm 21, right? I am a woman, pretty much. I'm over 18. I walk into American Eagle by myself. I go into the underwear and bra section. I go into the lingerie section, okay? I'm just browsing around, looking around. This woman comes up to me. She's probably in her 30s. She goes, "Hey, honey, do you need help trying bras? Is this your first time shopping for bras?" I'm 21 years old. Now, I understand if you may have thought I was younger than that, and maybe you thought I was like, 17 or 18. Even if I was in high school, would that be my first time shopping for bras? Oh my God, I was like so fucking pissed. Just like so condescending. I don't know. I've hated American Eagle ever since that experience. Just weird. And this was like a sales associate, obviously. Okay, I want to go through some of the main posts from American Eagle in this campaign with Sydney Sweeney that people had issues with. This first one is ... ominous. And also makes you think they're not just talking about jeans. And she got them at AE. Worn by Sydney, wanted by everyone. You mean men? She's notoriously like, men love her, right? But everyone is just not true. Also, guys, I just pulled this up on Instagram. What's so wild is it made me confirm I was 18. Is that an Instagram rule, or was this like put in place for Sydney Sweeney? Like, that's kind of hilarious. So at this point, it's kind of confusing, right? This post, you're like, first of all, what do you mean jeans, ... And you're also like, wanted by everyone, you mean sexually? Like, you can tell that they're playing off of this idea that like men want her. But this idea that women want to be her, no woman has been like, oh my God, I want what Sydney is wearing. So it just doesn't even make any sense. And we also need to remember, she's a white, straight, blonde girl, okay? I mean, she may be bisexual, but at this point, I don't even really care because she's a registered Republican. And we'll talk about that later. Wanted by everyone, it is not a problem to be blonde and white with blue eyes. That is not a problem. When you add in this eugenic stuff, and then also that like, oh my God, everyone wants to be her, it has a tone of like, everyone should want to be blonde, white with blue eyes. That's the tone. And it only gets worse with the more literal ads they put out. Okay, so this next one is a video, so I can't actually play it for the podcast because the audio gets messed up. It's a video of her. The sound and background noise is turned all the way up. You can hear the zipper zipping and her like breathing. It's very sensual. And the caption is Sydney Sweeney in her sensory era. Like, it's so obvious that like they want us to be attracted to her, and not in a WLW way. This is like for straight men. It's so confusing. And then it says, you know, their whole tagline, which is Sydney Sweeney has great genes. And it's so fucking obvious that they're not talking about her genes. It's so obvious that they think women want her literal genes to look like that. They think that men want her, which only half of that is true. Mind you, another huge problem with this campaign is that the jeans don't even fit her at all. They don't look good. How is this an ad for women to want those jeans? Like, nowhere in the ad is she displaying like how the jeans fit and make her feel they're falling off of her. It's so catered in a sexual way. It has nothing to do with the jeans. And then she says, I bet you want to try these jeans. How is that directed towards women? I just wish American Eagle would stop pretending like they're trying to cater anything towards women at this point. Okay, let's move on. This next one is so weird. It looks like a soft porn video. And the way that she's just like sighing and looking at the camera. And again, listen, there's a way for her to do this that doesn't make it seem like it's porn. There's a way for her to film herself without it looking like this. Then when the camera pans out, they say the Sydney Sweeney has great genes again, but then she's holding a German Shepherd dog. Why is this relevant? If you really want to go, you know, hardcore into the conspiracy theory that this is like Nazi eugenics, which I'm not opposed to. let's maybe go down it. That feels like a dog whistle, literally, to like Nazis and like MAGA people. And then to be like, she has great genes. It's so weird. Let's read some of the comments. Okay. Some of the comments are critical of it. Like this comment says, like the German Shepherd, blonde hair and blue eyes. Come on, guys. This is so 1940s. Like I totally kind of see that. It is giving 1940s. And not just because she's blonde. It's the like wanting her genes type shit of it all. What's so interesting is that like, I don't really think MAGA and like Republicans followed American Eagle and even cared about this campaign until progressives and like leftists and like, I don't know, feminists started critiquing it. And then they love to just say anything is like too woke, and then they make it their entire personality. So what the fuck? So now I'm seeing all these comments being like, I love American Eagle now. Good to see something normal these days. What? Like as if someone that isn't blonde with blue eyes and is white is not normal. It's just flat out fucking racist. And by the way, these are like all men commenting. Like you never give a fuck about American Eagle. Also, let's talk about American Eagle, the name American Eagle. Sounds pretty far right to me. Someone needs to do a deep dive into like their funding and if they like somehow like donated to Donald Trump's campaign or something like that, because I wouldn't be surprised. There's another comment that says, bravo, American Eagle. Attractive models are back the way it should be. They're just racist. They never cared before. It's only because liberals hated it. They need to stop pretending like they actually care. How refreshing. Finally, we women are thrilled to see us represented beautifully. Oh, fuck you. You white woman. You are fucking represented enough. Oh my God. It's wild. The reaction to this from MAGA people and how much they're pretending to like be obsessed with it only because like progressives hate it. The video that was like a race that is now like on YouTube and I can't find it anywhere on like AE's website is the one that like everyone keeps lip syncing. So the camera pans up her body as she zips on her pants. It's just so annoying that like we have to somehow explain what is so obvious, and like women know the difference between like owning your body and like being, you know, showing off your body and like being sexual, and then a way of doing that feels like it's from porn and catered towards men. We know the difference. We can see it. We can feel it. Sometimes you just can't explain that to people, but this feels soft porn-esque. And it just doesn't feel focused on the jeans. Like, tell me about why these jeans fit you when you like the fit of them. I never heard that at all, which is like the number one thing you want when you buy jeans. And these are women's jeans. So she says in the voiceover, jeans are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. Let's pause. It is now clear that American Eagle is not talking about jeans with a J, but they are obviously talking about jeans with a G. And she is now full on talking about her jeans. And American Eagle is now saying, I bet you want those jeans that she has, which are white, blonde hair, blue eyes. It's giving weird. It's just weird. At minimum, it's weird. And then she goes, my jeans are blue. Girl, we know you're not fucking talking about your fucking blue jeans, bitch. And I will say, I gotta be honest, I don't think Sydney Sweeney is very smart. So I don't really think she picked up on this. I'm not saying she gets like an excuse, because I think she has a lot of issues that she's done a lot of things that I don't love, and we will go through that. It's just so obvious that this is about her jeans. I mean, they make it very obvious. There's no arguing that it is only about jeans with a J, because she's talking about jeans that pass down from parents to offspring. Why the fuck is that even related to jeans? And it would be one thing, I gotta be honest, it would be a little bit different, and I still think it would be fucked up, but like it would be a little bit different if like women were obsessed with her and wanted to look like her. But when you add in the fact that she's like a registered Republican, she's white with blue eyes and blonde hair, talking about how everyone wants to like have her literal jeans, and then she's holding like a German Shepherd, it's jarring. It's jarring. A lot of people were saying that Sydney Sweeney's campaign is very similar and like almost like directly inspired by a Brooke Shields, a controversial Calvin Klein ad that she did. Brooke Shields was literally 15 when she did this ad, and she had been sexualized her entire career. It was fucking disgusting how men talked to her, what roles that she was, you know, kind of pushed into playing that were like way over sexual when she was an underage girl. And there's just so many issues with this campaign, and like then you add on the fact that they're trying to like raise money for domestic violence while they're kind of doing like soft porn, and they're also like mirroring an ad of Brooke Shields when she was 15. I don't understand how no one thought any of this and raised a red flag. And you know why no one did? It's because they probably didn't care. They probably did see a lot of issues with it. I bet a lot of people on staff, small marketing people, were like, wait, what? Oh, and didn't say anything, because of course they didn't, because they would get fired. Brands don't care about us. They care about making money and what the common public want. And right now, the majority of people are tradwife conservative men defenders and Sydney Sweeney defenders, apparently. Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about is the billboard. This is a billboard that was put up, and like it's Sydney Sweeney wearing jeans that says Sydney Sweeney has great jeans with a G. She then crosses it out and writes jeans with a J, as if it couldn't be any more obvious that we're actually talking about her jeans with a G. It is very clear they're talking about Sydney Sweeney's jeans. And again, the comments on these are a lot of MAGA people rushing to the comments because they just fucking hate progressives, I think, more than we hate them. And I do think it's so fucking funny because it's like, why do you care? Great to see, this is a comment, they're living in delusion. Okay, great to see white young women are not forbidden anymore. Forbidden. Was I forbidden? All of this shit happened. People freaked out. And a lot of people were saying, okay, German eugenics. And by the way, if you guys don't know what eugenics is, pretty much this is the dictionary.com definition. The study of how to arrange reproduction within a human population to increase the occurrence of heritable characteristics regarded as desirable. So usually it's like, you know, wanting to make sure that there's enough white people. It's honestly, America has a terrible eugenics history. And I took a really interesting class in college, but pretty much the reason why birth control was created, and it was tested in other populations. It was tested in Puerto Rico, it was tested in Taiwan, tested in India, a lot of different forms of birth control. And they did it on populations of color because they also wanted to decrease populations of non-white people because of this fear that the white race is somehow, you know, losing its standing in the world. That is a genuine fear that a lot of Republicans have, continues today. And unfortunately, the reason why like birth control exists is due to a eugenics history. Black women were getting forcibly sterilized like throughout the 1900s because white men are scared of not having this majority of white people. That's just a fact. And it is a presence in like a lot of these conversations that they will never publicize like on TV, but it is happening in all of these far alt-right Proud Boy, you know, new KKK events that is rapidly taking over YouTube and all of these other online sources and red pilling young people into it, which is scary. That's a whole scary thing. But this idea that like, oh, this is not happening, like, oh my God, eugenics, that's just not happening. It is happening, unfortunately. So whether American Eagle has like a Nazi on their marketing team, or they're just going after like, you know, straight men and MAGA conservative tradwife women, we don't know. But all of this controversy happened. Progressives were like, this is sexist. This has undertones of eugenics. Where is American Eagle's strategy right now? Who is their target audience? Is it women? All this happened. In response, American Eagle released a quote apology. I call it a quote apology because they didn't actually apologize. Here is their response. Quote, Sydney Sweeney has great genes, end quote, is and always was about the genes with a J. Her genes, her story, with a J. We'll continue to celebrate how everyone wears their AE jeans with confidence their way. Great jeans look good on everyone. So that's hilarious because they're pretending like it was, and It is and always was about the jeans with the J when they actually have a billboard where it says jeans with a G. And they talk about genes being passed down from parents to offspring. Where'd that go? You can't just pretend like it didn't happen. Wild shit. And that makes me think that their marketing team did this purposefully. They're not apologizing because they're not actually scared. And that scares me more because that shows that public, they think is on their side. Or they're now appealing to the people that are on their side, right? Like they're not even trying to appeal to progressives anymore. They're probably going to be like, oh, this is making us money, so we're not going to try to be like woke. And when I say woke, I just mean being normal. So then Donald Trump decided to be a part of all of this because he's got nothing else to do. And this is kind of random, you guys, but like last week I was on TMZ. TMZ DM'd me. This is related, I promise. TMZ DM'd me and they're like, hi, Hailey. And I was like, hi, TMZ. And they're like, do you want to be on our show and talk about Taylor Swift? And I was like, of course. I went on the show and I was like, I just want to make sure that whatever I'm saying is not being twisted because it's TMZ, right? And as long as I say what I think and what I believe. The morning of, they were like, we're actually not doing a Taylor Swift story. Can you talk about Donald Trump and Gayle King? And I was like, sure, because I can talk shit about Donald Trump. Pretty much the story is and was that I commented on. It's on my TikTok if you want to check out what I said on TMZ. But Donald Trump made this whole post on Truth Social, and I also miss the days when he used to not be allowed on fucking social media. What happened to that? But he made this whole post about Gayle King, Taylor Swift, blah, 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 because guys, he pretty much effectively got Stephen Colbert canceled. He is going after all the news. He wants to silence people that don't agree with him. And this is the post. Oh, and also he talked about Sydney Sweeney, all in the same fucking paragraph. It's a long paragraph. Let me read it for you from the president. This is the president of the United States. Sydney Sweeney, a registered Republican, has the, quote, hottest ad out there. It's for American Eagle, and the jeans are flying off the shelves. Go get him, Sydney. That's when you know you are in the wrong. On the other side of the ledger, Jaguar did a stupid and seriously woke advertisement. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Then Trump goes, or just look at woke singer Taylor Swift. Ever since I alerted the world as to what she was by saying on Truth that I can't stand her, hate, exclamation point, she was booed out of the Super Bowl and became no longer hot. Okay, let's talk about that for a very, very, very quick second. A lot of people are saying, guys, Taylor Swift wouldn't be a Trump supporter because Trump hates her. I don't think that Taylor Swift is a Trump supporter. I know that she hates Trump. I know that she doesn't like Trump. My point is that because we know that, why then is she hanging out with all of these MAGA people? I don't like that. I don't think she's a MAGA. I just don't like that she's around them. Maybe she hates it too. Maybe she can't get out of it. Maybe this is what she has to do with her boyfriend. I just don't like it. Moving on. Then he says, the tide has seriously turned. Being woke is for losers. Being a Republican is what you want to be. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I hate the world we're living in. And also Trump talked about Gayle King and said Gayle King's career is over, which I make a comment on TMZ. LMAO. Anyways, you know it's bad if Trump is defending you. And Sydney Sweeney not having a response right now, you are pretty much like okay with Donald Trump using you as a political tool and MAGA people using you as a tool for racism, because if you want to argue that the original ad wasn't actually outwardly racist, now people are using it to become racist. So don't you want to stop that? And that's what's making me confirm in my brain that she doesn't give a fuck, A, or B, is racist and is MAGA and is all these things. Also, Gayle King said that she, Taylor Swift, Bruce Springsteen, and Stephen Colbert are in a group, you know, because Trump hates all of them. And I'm like, does that mean group chat? Because that would be so fucking iconic. And then also, after all of this, what's really interesting is that Beyonce released a Levi's ad, which is a great opportunity for her to be like, oh, look, what a good jean company can do, where actually, you know, she looks hot and sexual, but the jeans look good and it's not pro eugenics. I also want to add, it is possible for a woman who's blonde and with blue eyes and blonde hair to like be in an ad and it not be racist and eugenics focused. So that's the whole controversy. I don't think Sydney Sweeney had any control over the design of this ad. She did do it, however, in the same way that Kendall Jenner, did her Pepsi ad, right? So you could give her a pass on that. Again, I do think that she should say something now, because the president is using her as a literal political tool. But Sydney Sweeney, as I've kind of mentioned before, has now had a reputation for the past few years as being a pick-me girl, catering towards men, and also Republican. Let's go into these controversies, because she has really been on the brink of cancellation. I'm surprised during all these controversies that the tide hasn't fully turned on her, because she's still booking big ass movies. And listen, I don't think she should go to jail. I do think she should now have the reputation as being this MAGA Republican and then not be allowed to perform in these queer progressive roles. I don't think she should be booking these roles when she's playing a lesbian, for example, which we'll get into. So let's talk about her being a registered Republican. What's really interesting about registering as a party in the US is not every state requires it. And a lot of the times, you can just vote in the general election without even having to register as a Republican. She registered in Florida, which she probably doesn't reside in all the time. And I feel like that was a strategic decision. So her registering as a Republican, she did this in June 2024, which is a few months before this last presidential election. Okay, I actually just looked it up. The Florida 2024 Republican primary was in March. So I'm seeing that she registered in June 2024. So that means it was before the general election, which means she probably voted for Trump. And it's not 100% confirmation, but it's girl. And she, wherever she's living, which is probably Los Angeles, didn't vote in California because she probably thought, it's going to go blue. So she probably voted in Florida because she was worried it was going to go blue. Because I think she's a fucking MAGA. And that's probably why she's not fucking speaking out against Trump. Guys, I could even see her staying silent before Trump, got into it. But now that he's in it, if you're a celebrity that you don't want to be mistaken as MAGA, you would clear your name up. You would clear it up because you're wait, I don't want to be associated with Trump. But she doesn't care. Okay, this next controversy, which is more recent, and I feel it's kind of getting overshadowed, probably because most people don't really care, and it's definitely not as bad as the eugenics ad, but she is playing a queer boxer. She is playing Christy Martin. Christy Martin is, I would argue, butch. Some people would say mask, okay? Definitely not femme. So she is a queer boxer. Sydney Sweeney is playing her in a dramatic movie, and it's called Christy. What do I think about straight people playing queer characters? I don't think it's actually bad. I just think there's a pattern going on in Hollywood where it's almost turns on audiences to be whoa, a straight person is playing a gay role, or look at Sydney Sweeney completely transforming from her hot, pretty blonde aesthetic into this butch, muscular, queer woman. Look at the difference. And I think that Hollywood thinks that that's tantalizing and spicy. And if they put a gay character in a gay role, they think it's too gay and not tantalizing for straight audiences. And I think that's actually exactly what's happening. And I also think Sydney Sweeney may be queer, but a lot of queer people are Republicans. So if you're a Republican, I don't care if you're queer, I don't want you in a Hollywood movie about a queer character. You're voting against your own rights. And then also, the character is not femme. We never cast butches and masks into big roles. Okay, so we have a big role for once, and then you cast Sydney Sweeney in it. And looking at the pictures of her, she doesn't even look like her. It just looks wrong. It doesn't look right. So that's one controversy. The other one that happened recently that I actually had mixed feelings on, and I do think it depends on who is doing it, but Sydney Sweeney selling her bathtub water. She just has such a long list of pick-me things and behaviors that she does that's really infuriating. And she did this collaboration with Dr. Squatch, never heard of it before, selling limited edition soap made with Sydney's bathwater, which apparently each bar of soap was made with a small amount of her actual bathwater. Now, usually I support women's wrongs and rights. And I'm like, oh, men are obsessed with you. You should monetize this and like, do your thing. But I think what's annoying about it is that this is her entire personality now. She knows that men are obsessed with her, view her as a sex symbol. And at this point, it's like women hate her. And I think a lot of brands view that as like women are jealous of her, but I don't think it's jealousy. I think it's just like anger. And so now you're going to then sell your own bathwater to men. Ugh. You can also talk about, the rumors of her maybe cheating with Glenn Powell during the filming of Anyone But You. And both Glenn and her were in relationships at this time. Who knows what happened, but that's never good. It's giving catering towards men and doing these like annoying fucking things. And also she's a Republican. And then we have birthday party gate. This is an interesting one because it did seem worse before you got the whole story. So Sydney Sweeney went to her mom's birthday party, and her mom's birthday party was like this country theme, whatever. People saw an Instagram posted by her, and in the back of the Instagram, there's people with red hats on. They are like the MAGA hats. However, if you zoom in, you can see that some of them, and it's hard to tell the other ones, they actually say, make 60 great again, not make America great again. But it's also hard to know, are those MAGA people thinking it's like cute, or is it progressives thinking it's funny? We might never know. And there was like obviously a huge backlash with this. People thought she was MAGA, and it doesn't mean that she herself is MAGA, but as we can kind of tell now with all of these problems that she's had and her actions, she probably is, and they probably all are too. So the backlash and the reception of all of this is very interesting. Is she being unfairly sexualized? Is American Eagle unfairly sexualizing her? Is it her fault? Is she wanting this stereotype for herself? Does she care? She's not really owning it like Emily Ratajkowski. Ratajkowski, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but like model and sex symbol who like wrote an amazing book about like sexualization. Like that's obviously not Sydney Sweeney's vibe. What is the patriarchy's fault? This is all being swept up also into politics and like fucking MAGA Trump stuff. And I think the public reaction is fair on the critical side. I also do think though that some women have taken it too far and like decide to critique her appearance, being like, she's not even that pretty. And it's like, okay, that's never going to help feminism. That's never going to help like solve misogyny. It's just like not helpful. I think it's just wild that Sydney Sweeney in this year of 2025 is being used as a political tool by Donald Trump. Get me off this timeline. All right, y'all, that's it for my episode. Shit has been like so fucking crazy. Very excited for my next episode. I think you guys are really gonna like it. And reminder, if you haven't already, go to my YouTube channel, Gasp the Pod, hit subscribe right now. Even if you don't have a YouTube, it's free, please. And if you want bonus content in the meantime, before my next episode, go to my Patreon and I have it there. All of that will be my link tree. All right, love you guys. See you next time.